Okay, so my thoughts on the obvious incident. The obvious incident. Lots of people are going to be focusing on the police sniper, or the apparent police sniper scene. Just because it's got police on the back doesn't necessarily mean they're not. FBI, Secret Service, name any other random agency. You can always just put an extra top on or a different set of clothes, different badge, whatever. So, but apparently, the police sniper team, everyone's focusing on them, their actions, what they did do, what they didn't do. A lot of people are focusing on the DEI hire, Secret Service detail, whether the women should have been there, whether they did a good job, blah blah blah. Kind of irrelevant, minute points that distract from the big issues of how in the hell could anyone get onto a rooftop 150, 160 yards, line of sight, slightly elevated position from the, some say current, former and running president of the USA. It's inconceivable. It's not potential negligence, it's not potential mistake, breach of security, failed assignment. It's inconceivable that it could happen. When the advance team gets out, days, probably weeks beforehand, the advanced Secret Service detail, they'll meet up with the local FBI officials, sheriffs, probably state troopers, etc., etc. They'll do their assessment of the area, they'll do all the security arrangements. Part of that will be picking out any elevated position for observation, and any elevated position, probably within a mile, that could be a potential sniper's hideout, potential sniper's vantage point. It's not complicated shit. It's basic day one shit. Anyone on the detail, anyone on the advance team, anyone in the local FBI office that was attached to the advance team would have pointed out them buildings. It is inconceivable that those buildings were not covered. It is inconceivable, not just the buildings, there's a water tower there, which is the highest point probably for around a mile. Great vantage point. They will have occupied that water tower. They will have looked at that water tower. That is a great vantage point. We need bodies up that water tower, which then looked over all them buildings, one of which the apparent shooter was on. It's inconceivable. They will have been up there. There will have been people assigned to that water tower. There will have been details assigned to the top of those buildings. The ladders that everyone's talking about, that the guy Thomas Michael Crooks, I think his name was, the three-pronged MK Ultra name. The ladder that he apparently used to get up was probably put there to allow whatever detail was assigned to the rooftop access to the rooftop. So the big question is, who pulled them details? Where were those details? They should have been there. They're going to come out and say it was negligent, failed assignments, a couple of heads will roll. It's got to be deliberate. That cannot happen. It cannot happen. It does not happen. It's just inconceivable that details that would have been assigned to them positions will not have been there. It's not fathomable. He was allowed there. He must have been allowed there. It's just there's no other option. It's not just there. When you're looking out from Trump's front to his half left, there's the two grandstands of the farm show. Two other great big vantage points, probably on par with the water tower. They will have been occupied, looking down on them buildings. It's inconceivable. Which also brings to another point. Lots of people are talking about the two guys that have come out, done the interviews, saying they were trying to warn local police, blah blah blah, that this guy was on the rooftop with a gun and that they didn't react. Well, is it possible that the local police, Secret Service, whoever was told by these individuals in the crowd that there was a guy up there with a gun, was thinking, well yeah, of course there's a guy up there with a gun. There should be two guys up there with guns. It's one of our details. Probable. I'm saying probable that they were like, well yeah, we've got a detail that goes to people with a gun. Then they called it in, all of a sudden shit kicks off. So, yeah, you can say conspiracy theory, blah blah blah, but everything's a conspiracy theory till it's proven a conspiracy fact. And how many conspiracy facts have come out over the last few years? It was allowed to happen. Do I believe it was staged? Trump staged it to gain popularity? No, not a freaking chance. He was shot at. People died. The bullet, you saw the bullet that clipped his ear, went and pierced a hydraulic line on a piece of plant. I think it was a John Deere piece of plant, but I might be wrong. But somebody put this guy up to it. Whether the intention was to kill him or not, whether it was, if he dies, he dies. If he doesn't, who cares? We've got an extra plan coming down the line that we haven't seen yet. Maybe in a couple of months before the election, they assassinate Biden, and then they blame it on Trump. They've got a load of evidence in the waiting showing that Trump sanctioned it because as a revenge hit or something. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But that's the problem. One aim that they have created is to create more chaos. All they want to do is more chaos, more division, more conflict, and all you see online now is diehard Democrat, diehard Liberal fighting with diehard Republican, arguing over this. Some diehard Liberals crying because bloody Trump didn't get killed, and then diehard Republicans talk about revenge. It's madness, but it's what they want. They want chaos. They don't really care. Them in charge, the real ones in charge, don't really care who lives, who dies, who's in power, who's not. It's all about spreading chaos, fear for the ultimate control that's coming down the line and that's been coming for years. That's what it's all about. Now, another little aside from that, we've heard two names about the shooter. When it first happened, we were told the FBI is looking into him and he didn't have ID on him, so they're waiting for DNA evidence before they release his name. Very quickly, I think it was in New York Post, New York Times, one of the two, reported this Thomas Michael Crooks. And 2 hours later, I believe it was, the FBI confirmed it was this Thomas Michael Crooks that they confirmed with DNA evidence. This is a 20-year-old guy with no apparent criminal record. All of a sudden, no online presence. All his social media has been wiped, so he has none. Why was his DNA on file? Was his DNA on file? Yeah, they can take DNA from the body, but you're telling me within a matter of hours, government agencies, local agencies, managed to find this guy's DNA from somewhere and prove it was him? Really? Government doesn't work like that. Have you ever known government law enforcement work that fast? And why would his DNA be on file anyway? If you say, oh, well, they went to his house and got it, how did they know it was him? If they're saying he didn't have any idea. Makes no sense. But then what happens? There's another that guy's name put out, Maxwell Urich. Maxwell Urich, Antifa agent, been around Pennsylvania, protests, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Atlanta, Georgia, believe Washington, DC, maybe a couple of others. Got arrested at a Pennsylvania protest for assaulting two police officers, beat a female officer to the ground, I believe, and then when a male detective tried to arrest him, fought back so far to the point where the guy tore his bicep. That assault charge was somehow pleaded down and he got a 3-month sentence, which as far as I could tell, he never actually served. I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a suspended sentence that he never actually served. Who was this Michael Urich? Well, he just happens to live 10 miles away from this Thomas Matthew Crooks. He lives in Beelan Street in Pennsylvania. You're going to call me out for doxing him now? Really? So, where has this guy's name come from? I think Roger Stone released it, some other guy talked about it. Very strange. Look at the pictures. Looks a lot like this Maxwell Urich. Doesn't look a lot like this Thomas Matthew Crooks, except for the picture that they've got from behind where he's leant over a wall. Where did they get that picture from? Where did they get that picture from? Were they watching him? Did they have a drone on him? Should have had a drone on him. If they had a drone on him, why didn't they stop him when he was crawling up onto the rooftop? How did they get that picture from behind of his back of his head wearing that Demolition Ranch t-shirt? So, what do we have? We have a guy with no online presence, a loner, who his neighbours say never really spoke to him, who his parent schoolmates, not mates, say was a loner and was bullied. And then you've got this Maxwell Urich, who we know is Antifa, we know has travelled the country protesting, we know has beat up 2 coppers but then got a very lenient sentence. What do we know about a lot of these groups? Half these groups are freaking FBI plans, FBI assets that are inciting things, inciting riots, inciting plots. Governor Whitmer, what was it? 12 people, 10 of them were FBI assets, 2 got arrested, 2 freaking dumbasses. My money, don't know, speculating. My money, Maxwell Urick, FBI asset, working within Antifa, befriends Thomas Matthew Crooks, incites him to create some sort of attack or some sort of plot around Trump's visit. Maxwell Urick takes to the rooftop to end Trump, thinking he's going to get away with it because this Thomas Matthew Crooks is going to take the fall. Thomas Matthew Crooks, who knows, he's probably already dead in a grave somewhere. Maxwell Urick gets taken out by one of the snipers after he's fired, by the sound of it, 8 shots, one of which ended the life of a former firefighter. That's what I think. I think it was a plot. Call me a conspiracy theory. MK was real. Maybe both Maxwell Urick, Thomas Matthew Crooks, I'm probably butchering it. I think that might even, is it Matthew Thomas? I can't remember. Both probably MK Ultras. Who knows at this point? They're that deeply entwined in everything. Either way, I'd bet this Maxwell Urick's an FBI plan within Antifa, and it was a plot. Plot to either end Trump, create more division, create more chaos, and it succeeded. Trump's alive, but there is more division, there is more chaos. Who knows where we're going to go from here? Who knows what's next? One thing's for sure, Biden is not going to be president in November. I'm still not even convinced there's going to be an election. Something's going to happen. It's going to be bird flu / nuclear war / freaking everything else. I'm still convinced Biden's probably going to be assassinated. And if they assassinate Biden, they'll try and pin it on Trump somehow, get him removed from the ballot. And I don't know, everyone's favourite tranny, Michael Obama, will end up getting put into presidency or something. Who knows? But all you know is you can't trust anything you see, you can't trust anything you hear, and you can't trust anyone that's posting videos online about it. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Trust nothing, trust no one. See you later. Out.